What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Revenge. Since back in the day has been a thing people have been on. An eye for an eye. You do something to me and mine, I gotta get you back. I'm sure everyone has had a moment of either feeling like they wanted to retaliate for a situation or did. For instance, you grow up in a neighborhood. You might not even be involved in any street activity, but it's going on around you. You have a best friend that's in the mix. Your hood starts beefing. Someone comes through shooting. Your homie gets killed. Now that's enough for even the most level-headed person to want to retaliate and get their lick back. For some, it might even change their lives, pushing them off the porch into the streets to hunt for their friend's killer. It's just one of those things that only you as the person involved understands how much pain and anger you have inside. But being filled up with that much hate is dangerous. It clouds your thinking, putting you in a position you are so thirsty for get back, you start going at anybody. As unfortunately, in the streets, you are guilty by association. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Cobb County, Georgia, to discuss a plan for revenge that went from Chicago to Atlanta. Back in 2021, Sean Gray was a 22-year-old young man from Chicago, Illinois. He was raised by his grandmother since his parents had issues of their own. Sean would get into a little trouble, but nothing major. He graduated from North Chicago High School and tried to stay out the way. But Sean would go through hard times when his grandma passed away. He veered off track a little bit and got involved in the streets, eventually sending him to prison. After a short sentence, Sean came back to the streets and wanted a better life. Having 2 kids, the young man landed a job at Abbott Laboratory and everything was going good. One day, he was invited to a cookout by his 16-year-old little homie, who we will call Tone. When Sean arrived, he started vibing with Tone's mother, who we will call Jasmine. Even though there was an age difference and that was his little man's mother, the two would hit it off and get into a relationship, in which Tone was actually cool with. They got serious pretty fast, and Sean even asked Jasmine to move in with him and his brother in Libertyville, a Chicago suburb. Fast forward to the week of January 16th, 2021. That was Jasmine's birthday week. The couple, along with Tone, decided they would plan a big trip to Atlanta for them to have some adult fun and Tone be dropped off with his grandmother who lived down there. They hopped on the road and headed down south. They arrived on January 15th. They decided to stay at a hotel in the Viners area, Cobb County, Georgia. When they arrived, Tone took a picture with him, Sean, and his mother outside of the hotel with the caption, "We in the A," and posted it in a group page called the B-Way Crew, which was made up of him and a few of his homies in Chicago. Not thinking too much about it, Jasmine and Sean dropped off Tone to his grandmother's house and hit the town to turn up. On the morning of January 17th, Jasmine woke up early, around 6:30 a.m., and realized Sean wasn't in the room. They had hung out late that following night, not returning back to the hotel until after 3 a.m. Mad at first, thinking he was out cheating, Jasmine texted him like, "I know you didn't come all the way down here to Atlanta to do this." But after multiple texts, Sean didn't respond. Her anger turned to concern when she called and no one answered. Last thing Sean said the night before was he was going to the car because he had left his water bottle. Confused, Jasmine got a call from the hotel's front desk from Sean's phone. It was a FaceTime call. The clerk at the front desk showed her a pair of shoes and then stated she had Sean's 2 phones. Jasmine quickly left the room and went to the desk, now scared, as Sean only bought those shoes a day prior when they went to the mall. but they looked dirty and had blood on them. She called the police to file a missing persons report. When police arrived, they spoke to Jasmine, who told them about the shoes and Sean's phones. They walked the parking deck and quickly noticed a spent shell casing and blood on the couple's rental car. Police saw the water bottle Sean originally went to get was still inside the car. One of the officers just so happened to look over the parking deck and saw a man laying face down in the grass. Jasmine screamed as she realized it was Sean. He had been shot 4 times and was unfortunately pronounced gone on the scene. Detectives came to talk to Jasmine as it went from a missing person report to a homicide. She ran down everything they did the night before. She also told police they were from Chicago and Sean did not have any enemies or ties to Atlanta. Robbery went out the window because he still had his wallet. With no leads, detectives asked the hotel manager for the security footage of the parking deck. It showed Jasmine and Sean pulling up around about 3:15 a.m. About 15 minutes later, Sean walked out the elevator to go to the whip. He would get startled as he heard something. Then a man crept from the back of the car and approached Sean. The two had a brief exchange before the man upped the blick and started shooting. Sean attempted to run and jump over the parking deck to get away, but he was already hit. Detectives saw a red car pull up and the gunman get inside and pull off. They saw in the footage it was a man driving. They ran the car's tag number. It came back registered to a woman in Atlanta. They searched the home's list of residents to see a man named Ashley Davis who lived there. Over the next few days, detectives viewed Ashley's social media to see if he had any ties to Chicago. They saw he had one friend named Jay Bracy from Chicago, now living in Georgia. Police didn't have a real name for the man, so they sent his image to Chicago police to see if they had any information. They got a hit on a man named Jamal Bracy. Police went to pick up Ashley to interview him. He claimed the night of the shooting, he wasn't nowhere near Cobb County. Him and his girl was beefing, so he went to see another female. A search warrant was issued for Ashley's phone. It showed text messages between him and Jamal in which he had his name saved as Jay Chi-Town. It showed times, locations, and screenshots. One screenshot showed a picture of Tone, Jasmine, and Sean in front of the hotel, posted in the B-Ways crew Facebook page. They also saw messages about a tracking device. Ashley was confronted with the evidence, but he stuck to his story. He was still taken into custody as his phone showed he was by the hotel the time Sean was shot, charged with murder. Detectives got a warrant for Jamal's phone. It showed text messages between him and his sister minutes after the hit, saying delete some of that stuff and get home safe, bro. It also showed he arrived at the hotel just 1 hour after the couple had arrived on January 15th and sat there from 1 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. before leaving. They checked his social media and saw a post stating, "You hurt me, I let karma do his job. You hurt my family, and I become karma." In messages police saw Jamal sent the B-Way crew page something stating, "I need to know who shot my nephew." Tone hit back stating, "We had nothing to do with that. I used to live around there. Why would I do that?" And me and my family moved. Then Jamal asked, "So who did it then?" Tone never replied, as it seemed weird. Detectives went back and interviewed Jasmine. They asked her about the B-Way crew. She told them it's just a group of friends that her son hung with. But information came out about a drive-by shooting just 11 days before the couple came to Atlanta, in Chicago, where a 16-year-old boy was shot in the neck. He fortunately survived. Come to find out, that was Jamal's nephew. He saw the post, a picture of the apartments he took before the family moved, and felt B-Way did the shooting. Since then, he was lurking on the page. Jamal was tracked down, taken into custody in North Carolina before being transported to Cobb County Jail. Detectives came to interview him, but he asked for a lawyer and refused to talk. The detective got a warrant for Jamal's Google account, and having an Android phone, which allows Google to track all your information, they found the email for a tracking device. They went to the tracking devices app and got a bunch of evidence Sean and Jamal allegedly put the device on the couple's rental car just hours after they arrived in Atlanta and followed them at various times in certain locations. At one point, he thought they had peeped him, so he enlisted the help of Ashley to switch cars. The night of the hit, they followed Sean and Jasmine for 3.5 hours, even pulling up to them by a gas pump at a gas station around the corner from the hotel minutes before the murder, without them even knowing. The two men then headed to the hotel, waited, stalking, and just sitting. Allegedly, police think Jamal was removing the tracker device when Sean came out to get the bottle of water. Then he confronted him, thinking he was Tone or either one of the members of the B-Way crew before shooting. Police stated Ashley was the getaway driver. They also listened to Jamal's phone calls from jail, telling the woman, "Man, they trying to get me on the body because I made a post saying free my blood," in reference to Ashley. And he told her to delete messages off his social media and don't respond to anything. That was enough for the charges of aggravated murder, assault, and handgun violations to stick to Jamal. Him and his attorney requested a speedy trial, meaning within 6 months. Him and Ashley would go to trial together. As more information came out, they stated Jamal's sister, who was his nephew's who was shot mother, also messaged the B-Way crew and sent them messages and shared screenshots. They were going to charge her with accessory, but instead they got her to turn state's witness against her brother and testify. Surprisingly, Ashley pleaded guilty to the murder charges and was given a life sentence. Jamal went all the way to trial and was convicted, also receiving life. Family and friends say Sean didn't have anything to do with the shooting of Jamal's nephew, or did the B-Way crew. Rest in peace to Sean. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family. It's crazy how they didn't even know they were being tracked, and the picture gave up their location. I know Tone didn't think too much about it when he posted it, but we definitely gotta be careful sharing out every move on social media. If Jamal didn't have the facts straight on who shot his nephew, that's wild. I understand wanting answers, but you gotta watch how you go about doing that. It's a lot of people who lost their life behind false information, or he say, she say. As in the streets, the real story can get flipped 30 times before it gets to you. Sometimes leaving innocent people targeted. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, it's a crazy story. You know, y'all heard it. Definitely let me know what y'all think about this one. Remember to be respectful. Like I said, rest in peace to Sean. I ain't gonna say too much more. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.